There's a $20,000 grant for first-time homebuyers buying new construction here in Utah. I'm going to go through and explain the whole thing. Frankly, I'm going to answer a lot of questions that you probably don't even have. But this will be a really good video so you can go into the nitty-gritty of exactly what it means and what it could mean for you. The overview is this. The Utah government is trying to spur the market. You see, we're still missing about 50,000 homes to meet the demand that we have here currently. So we need new houses built. This program is set up to incentivize builders as well as first-time home buyers. And folks call it a grant, although it's not exactly a grant. There's $20,000 that can be allocated toward the purchase of a new home under $450,000. And that's the end purchase price of $450,000. But the reason why I say it's not a grant is because that $20,000 you will have to repay when you refinance or sell them. But as long as that loan stays in place, it's $20,000 interest-free. So let's say today you buy a home that's $450,000, and in 5 years it's worth $550,000. When you sell this home, that $20,000 will need to be repaid, and then it'll be back into the state's escrow account so they can take and recycle it for other people, because there is a limit on how much money they have allocated toward this program. But the great news is that $20,000 can be allocated toward a down payment, toward closing costs, or rate buy down. So I could likely buy a $400,000 house with no money down and have some of my closing costs paid for as well. And to be honest, in the current situation we're at now, builders are still giving an additional incentive. So that additional builder incentive could be used as a rate buy down, which means in a lot of cases you could get into a house with zero money down and have a lower rate than the average home buyers out there. And again, that's only for first-time home buyers and new construction. And it goes into effect July 1st, 2023. But it's probably gonna take about 30 days for the money to actually be there. So you really don't wanna be closing on the house until after August 1st. But again, we're talking about new construction. So right now is a great time to lock that in and purchase a house that'll be ready in a few months. That's the gist of the program, so I'm gonna go over some of the stipulations on it, as well as some frequently asked questions. One of the questions is, do you have to live there? Does it have to be owner occupied? The answer is yes. This is only for first-time home buyers who are going to be living in the home. For this program, what do they define as a first-time home buyer? The buyer or their spouse cannot have owned a home in the last 3 years. The next question is, when can you start applying for the program? The answer is as soon as you're seeing this video. And to be honest, the sooner you take action on it, the better off you're going to be. You see, this isn't big common knowledge right now, and it hasn't hit critical mass. Once it does though, even with our current interest rates, I think we're either going to see houses start to go up a little bit more, or builders stop giving as much incentives to buy. The next question is, what are the terms of this loan? And again, it is a loan. It's not a grant. That has to be repaid at a certain point, but it is 0% interest. Who's going to be running this program? Utah Housing Corporation is the one that's going to be running it. And to be honest, that's actually great news. You see, Utah Housing is a local program here, and they have the best interests of Utah residents in mind. If for whatever reason you get caught behind or you need someone to work with you, there's no one I'd rather be working with than Utah Housing. Your big corporations really don't care. For you, it's just a number on their balance sheet. So if they have to foreclose, they foreclose. Whereas with Utah Housing, you can actually go and meet with someone in person, go over your situation, and they'll try and help you out. Another question is, can this program be combined with other programs or other grants? There's a long answer for this question, but the short answer is it depends on the situation. With some programs, the answer is yes. With some programs, the answer is no. Do you have to work with a specific lender to be able to get this program? The answer to that question is yes. You have to work with specific lenders who are authorized to work with Utah Housing. We talked about this before, but one of the questions is there a time limit, or is there a specific amount of people that can have this program? The answer to that question is yes. As it sits, this program is only set up for 2,500 people at a time. And unless they make changes, once that money's done, it's done. Now, this next one's kind of interesting. If you're moving from out of state, can you come in and qualify for this program? The answer is actually no. You have to have been living in Utah for 12 months prior to purchasing the home for you to be able to qualify. Are there income limits on this program? The short answer to this question is yes. It hasn't been released exactly what the income limits are going to be, but we do know it's going to be qualifying income limits. So if me and my wife both work, but I'm under the income limit alone, but we're over the income limit together, the idea there that you would just have one person on the loan qualifying for that program. What property types can this be used for? It can be used for single family, condos, townhomes, or modular homes with foundations. And to finish it out, we'll talk about the stipulation of what happens if you have negative equity. I think it'll help out a lot of people who have been on the fence. And if you're curious if you fit the criteria that's necessary, let's set up a conversation with you and a lender and you can go over the specifics of your exact situation. Now, I know this video might have been a little slow or a little boring, but I felt it important to have one place where you got the majority of the information associated with this program. I hope it helped.